get started actually on food and beverage. I was really interested in food and the nighttime experiences and a four-star restaurant. So I'm in college, no hospitality background at all, and I started serving. And I learned wine and I learned food and I learned how it can be paired and how these people would come in and it would just be a whole event for them. It would truly be again a personalized experience. Operations to sales, it's almost just a culture shock. It's very different. The operations in a hotel is no joke at all. It's very difficult. The day to day, it's abrasive and it's tough dealing with different personalities. And then you go into sales and you're no longer managing the team, the schedules, the guest experience. You're more so focused on the revenue. In the next 10 years, it will be almost a completely female-dominated industry. I think now that it's an open playing field, it's just to the sky from here, and I'm so proud of the female leaders. So right now, I think big data is extremely overlooked. Right now, we have so many guests coming into our platforms, giving us information, giving us feedback, and you see it in your score. They have to score everything that they experience on our property.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our special Women's Day episode of Reshape Hospitality with Tech. I'm your host, Maria, and I'm joined by my co host, Kazim. In this episode, we are joined by an amazing guest having vast experiences in the hospitality industry. She is Allison Knapp. Welcome, and I feel so happy to have you with us on our Women's Day. Special thanks for joining.
Absolutely. Thank you all for having me. Very excited for today and happy Women's Day.
Alison, you had an impressive career as a hospitality sales leader working with a big international brands, which is truly remarkable. So, could you tell us, and of course to our audience too, about an overview of your career background, why you choose the hospitality industry as your profession, and share with us the achievements you made in your job role that makes you feel proud? Love to know about that.
Yes, absolutely. I'm happy to share. So for me, I've always been about experiences above all. Before even into sales or deep into hospitality, I always just love to curate experience top to bottom, kind of making everything personalized and different and just a memory, really. So for me, I get started actually on food and beverage. I was really interested in food and the nighttime experiences and a four-star restaurant. So I'm in college, no hospitality background at all, and I started serving and I learned wine and I learned food and I learned how it can be paired and how these people would come in and it would just be a whole event for them. It would truly be again a personalized experience from top to bottom, and it was just a light bulb for me that this. I don't know what I'm going to do, but this is what I'm going to do. And so from there, I also sold wine a lot to the point where my direct manager at the time, this is years ago, tells me, you're not even a sommelier and you're outselling all of our wine. I think you should go into sales. Young me, I'm very bright. And I go, what in the world is sales? You just don't know what you don't know. And so for me, I then sparked the interest. And then I go, okay, well, how do I get my start? How do I get my foot in the door? And it was really difficult. It was not as welcoming as I would expect it to be. So for me, I then kind of set out on a mission. I was in operations, but I really wanted to make that impact and bring that business and create those experiences I wasn't really seeing within the hotels. I was in a portfolio of hotels in Virginia Beach at the time. And so for me, like I said, it was difficult. So then that kind of spoke to me again. I'm very much a people person, and I care about how people feel and what they leave with after they speak with you and they interact with you. And again, not feeling very welcomed, it really resonated with me. And I said, you know what? Above all, I need to make a difference in this industry. And so that piqued kind of my LinkedIn and my social media, because I said, what can I do right now as someone who's, a few years into the industry, but I'm ready to make a difference and show that there is room at the table for everyone. And people don't always feel that way in this industry. So that really began the birth of the Millennial Hotelier for me, and it's kind of just grown into this big platform I did not expect. But when you're on a mission and people support you and other people feel the same way and go through the same things you've been through, it creates community. So that's a little bit about me, a little bit about my why.
What were the major challenges you faced during this transition?
Yeah, so a few. Basically, when you're going from operations to sales, it's almost just a culture shock. It's very different. The operations in a hotel is no joke at all. very difficult. The day to day, it's abrasive and it's tough dealing with different personalities. And then you go into sales and you're no longer managing the team, the schedules, the guest experience. You're more so focused on the revenue. So it's a big shift. But I'm a numbers person by trade, believe it or not, a marketer by trade as well. So for me, it was just again a light bulb of this is what I was meant to do, maximizing revenue and really being creative and finding strategies and ways to make the hotel or whatever asset you're working for at the time and make them the most amount of money. So from there, it was just breaking into the sales industry in hotels was definitely the most difficult because it's almost very protected. It's not a come sit at the table with us and let's teach you. It's no, you're in operations, so you need to sit over there. And that again, I'm a very much like there's room for everyone and we can all make an impact if we were determined enough. And again, it spoke to me and it resonated. So going from just my food and beverage, I went into management. So I started managing banquets at a country club actually in Virginia Beach. And then from there, my hotels just speak to me. That's really what I'm meant to do, and that's my calling. So I knew I had to get back in. I just didn't know how, and finally got a shot after many no's. And I'll be humble. It was very hard to break into sales from operations for me. But I finally got a yes, and that was actually in Chesapeake, Virginia, a few miles away. And it just took off from there. I had fantastic leaders in there, and from there grew to an area role at the different company. And now here I am where I'm meant to be at Crescent Hotels. And I'm very, very, very honored. And again, it's been a journey, not always easy, but I'm very excited for the future, and I'm very honored. It's been they could have chose in each role I've had. Again, I think it's a privilege. I think these people trust you with their day to day of their sales, the revenue coming in, jobs, the banquet team. It's a big task. So again, I'm honored. So it's a little bit about me.
You are not only a sale leader, but also an author and founder of the Millennial Hotelier. Your articles caught my interest, especially the one about what does hospitality means to you. And by the way, it was very informative. Now I'm curious to know what motivated you to share your insights through those articles.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, starting at the very bottom, when you're serving along people of all walks of life, and then you look at upper management and the executives, and you just go, how in the world can I get there? And you don't feel like there's a roadmap. You don't feel like there's support. Everyone's out here figuring it out on their own, and it really upset me. Being so passionate about hospitality and seeing those people that are really the backbone of the industry at the very bottom, the housekeepers and I mean the day to day, the valet, and there's almost community when you're down there all working together, and seeing how frustrated they would be and almost how unmotivated they would get just from the day to day of feeling like they don't have a support or mentor or community. Just not feeling that. So again, that really sparked it for me as I'm on my journey into sales and moving up and on in the industry. I'm still like but these people need to know that there's a voice for them and there's a community for them. And again, I just wrote what I felt. I really never put
Mhm.
too much thought into it. It's what I wanted people to read and be impacted by. And the feedback I get still when I'm like, I go to a different hotel or I stay overnight with my family, is just, it shows me I'm on the right path and doing what I was meant to do. When you see that someone like yourself just goes, that meant a lot to me. And that really resonated with me. And now I'm going to work my whole next year. I'm going to come in early. I'm going to leave late. And, I'm motivated. And that's everything to me. So it means a lot to hear it from you and really anyone. When anyone gives me a compliment, it feels like the first time.
You did a great job, Allison. So, who do you consider as your mentors who help you in your career journey? Can you share the name with us?
Yeah, absolutely. So I had a fabulous director of sales, the one who actually gave me a shot and hired me. Her name was Meredith. She's not big on the social side, but
Mm-hmm.
she was a fabulous mentor into sales. And again, she welcomed me at the table when I didn't feel very welcomed by a lot of people. And the same for my current mentor.
Mm-hmm.
Her name is Jackie King. She is my
Mm-hmm.
current director of sales. Just excellent. I can't say enough fantastic things about her. I actually, and a funny enough story, I interviewed with her coming out of operations over 2 or 3 years ago, for a little catering sales manager job. And she's no joke. And she told me, I just don't think you're qualified enough to come in. I have to protect this hotel. And I respected her so much for that. But again, it was a no. And I'm humble enough, I'll admit it was a no. But I went out and I found another position in sales, kind of came back, and here I am at the property that told me no years ago, making that comeback. And she's again an excellent mentor and saying, "But now you're ready. Maybe it was always meant to be this way." So she's just, I can't get over her, how she empowers her team, how she truly leads us. And it supports me on my LinkedIn Millennial Hotelier journey as well. I've found that's very rare. Either they're to me, the leaders I've interacted with are either very in depth in hospitality, but absolutely not to tech and social media, or they're open to learning. So she's a very rare gem, and I'm very fortunate to learn under her.
As it is Women's Day, I would love to know your thoughts on this. What is your viewpoint on the impact of women in shaping the hospitality industry? And how do you see the hospitality industry for female professionals?
Yeah, I think it's now an open playing field, and I don't believe it was always that way. I think it was very male dominated for a very long time. So I just have so much respect again for my leader, and I see the other leaders that have made it, female leaders to VP, seniors, executives, because this industry is shifting. It's becoming more diverse, but it has not always been that way. So I think in the next 10 years, it will be almost a completely female dominated industry. I think now that it's an open playing field, it's just to the sky from here. And I'm so proud of the female leaders that are inclusive and the diversity that we now have. I'm very passionate about that. So, not like I said, I'm very excited. I try my best as well to be a mentor. If anybody ever wants to learn, I get messages on my LinkedIn all the time. I'm like, well, let's sit down. Let's do a 15-minute. I don't care what time zone you're in. We'll do this.
So let's talk about Crescent Resorts and Hotels. In your role as a senior sales manager, could you tell us about the number of properties they have in their portfolio and how you guys plan out the strategies that will help in providing the best guest experience?
Yes, absolutely. Well, it's really the crescent difference for me. Again, when I was really processing where I wanted to go long term, you look at all the management companies across the board and you say, where would I best fit in? Again, I'm an innovator, almost a disruptor. I like to come in and make that difference that I feel like a lot of the companies don't prioritize, but at Crescent it's very different. They prioritize every single guest, every single associate, and again, being so passionate about everyone, even on the front lines, that really mattered to me. So learning them, they have over 100 properties, 25,000 guest rooms they manage, and about a million square feet plus, in the whole portfolio. And we're really, I would say, a more luxury-based portfolio. And it's for a reason. It's the level of service that's provided. So it just so far, I haven't been with them the longest time, but I've always heard about them. And just having a leader, my leader, who can create a leader out of anyone. And I'm very excited and all that they offer everybody at every, I mean, the growth, the community, it's really incredible. If you haven't checked out Crescent, I highly recommend that you do. There's, like I said, room at the table for everyone, very diverse, inclusive, and it's really the future of hospitality, this company.
Alison, you are a person who is always looking for new ways to innovate, improve the guest experience, and if you want your hotel business to stand out from the competition, it is important to understand the pricing strategy. Can you tell us about your hotel pricing strategy that will help in attracting guests? And what are the main source of your hotel in generating the revenue?
Yeah, so I'm not too much on the revenue side, but I'll touch on it a little bit. So for us, it's being competitive, but also, being a community out here in Virginia Beach. You never want to price gouge, anything like that, but you got to stay competitive. And out here in this market, it's a piece of the pie for everybody. So we very much prioritize the families, the military, everyone that's really makes up this community. We try our best to kind of critique it to everyone. Everybody's welcome, and we have a great response. And right now, our occupancy rates are out the roof because we just welcome everyone. But we also try to personalize every single guest experience that comes in the door. I mean, if it's just a hi, hello, how can we help you on your long travel? We see your email is from out of town or your address is from out of town. What can we do for you? And especially just that first guest touch at the front desk. So reading our scores too makes me so happy because I just kind of read about how personalized every associate makes every experience. To the bellman, to valet, to our housekeepers. Even if they see a family, they'll have three more towels ready for them in their room, just so when they get in there, they don't have to ask. So I'm very passionate and go on and on. But to me, it's more than the pricing strategy. It's kind of the strategy of the whole hotel. And they knock it out of the park here at Delta Waterfront. So special, I should say.
You are well aware that COVID has brought changes to the hospitality industry with the focus on hygiene and safety, contactless services, and flexible bookings are now key players. And if I ask you, what is your perspective on how the hotel industry will improve guest experience and what are the changes you will see in the coming years in this industry?
Yeah, so I think COVID really shaped up everything because it was almost like a new beginning moving forward. So now we realize that a guest is not a number. I mean, that COVID really made an impact, let me tell you. And every company I have been with, it was extremely difficult to come out of. So now, you have to be better. You have to make a difference from the company next to you. And to me, it starts with personalization. It starts with, technology at the forefront. How can a guest quickly and assertively let you know if there's a spill or they need more towels? I mean, you're creating, and it's all at the forefront of creating an experience for them when they're trusting you with their experience and their memory. I mean, this might be their only vacation they take in 5 years. I mean, you have to treat every single guest in their own way and personalize that experience. So I think if everyone kind of had that mentality of the personalization, I think the industry would get a lot further. I think out of COVID, people will kind of understand. They'll catch the drift of why our occupancy rates are so high, and they'll go from there. But personalization, even down on the sales side, for me, it's no longer just a quick email. It's let's hop on a call, and I want to hear about your day and how we can make the difference and win your piece of business.
Allison, hospitality is all about the experiences that is offered to the guest. So, in your opinion, how can new technologies enhance that experience for hotels?
Oh, absolutely. I think the opportunities are endless. I'm constantly seeing startups, even on LinkedIn and other various websites, where I just think to myself, like, this could really be the next big thing that makes the next big impact. I mean, just from there's different phases, as we kind of call it, on the back end here. I mean, before they arrive, they should be able to kind of be like, the guest should tell you their preferences. It should not just be like, hi, I check in at 4 p.m. and I go to my standard room. I think every single, I need to come in at 2:30. Can I check in then? I think it should be a little, I believe the future, I don't know how to word this, will be more personalized, but also more efficient. I think the apps will evolve over time, as well as the technologies that will integrate. And that's with any third party, with Marriott or Hilton. I think they'll kind of hopefully begin to adopt these third party technologies that'll really reshape hospitality for the guest experience.
Okay, so you talked about personalization. So, the most talked technologies about personalizations are AI and big data. How do you think how crucial they will be for the future of the hospitality industry?
Absolutely. So right now, I think big data is extremely overlooked. Right now, we have so many guests coming into our platforms, giving us information, giving us feedback, and you see it in your score. They have to score everything that they experience on our property. And for us, we use those to navigate our problem areas. We use those to navigate what we're thriving at. But that's really where I've kind of come in different parts of my career and said, but why are we getting such maybe this is just a fictional example, but why are we getting such low responses about the pool? Let's go experience the pool and let's fix what's going on. And it turned out people wanted food at the pool. So it's kind of using that data that you're getting in, the influx of when you have a lot of rooms in and when you don't have a lot of rooms, but really studying that. I think that needs to be more talked about, and maybe a position at each property level where people kind of, I don't want to say do control, but really an analyst that really understands the data that we're receiving back and how to improve and how to be a disruptor in the industry from it.
Okay, so you have talked about these third-party technologies. We have all these fascinating technologies, but where do you think the industry still lags? Is it in adopting those technologies, or do we need more technology in the industry?
I don't believe that the leaders, and this is all across the board, I don't believe that the leaders are adopting them at the rate that they should. I think everyone needs to have more, the executives, when I say everyone, needs to have more of an open mind. Because right now the future is technology. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I think it might even take the younger generation, the millennials, to come in and say, look, this might have been a way we've been doing things for 30 years, but we're not, this isn't 30 years ago. This is 2024. And we're moving on from here. And like I said, I just went to a conference, actually, BITAC Conference. It was fantastic, where suppliers kind of talked about their products, and very innovative and absolutely ravishing experience I had. I'm just kind of learning about the next wave of tech and hospitality. I don't know if I can name them, but it was absolutely incredible to kind of see how we can even do a follow-up experience directly to a guest, powered by AI. That's actually a company called Directful. Just all sorts of absolutely incredible things that these industry shapers and these innovators are coming up with. Some not even having a hospitality background, but understanding people. So if we all adopted that, and I would say the people that really can make the impact on each property, the results would be, they would speak for themselves. They would be absolutely incredible.
Having these exciting new technologies is one thing, but actually getting them to work in a hotel are totally different thing. So do you think that small or boutique hotels have an edge when it comes to implementing these third-party technologies, or do you think it is easier for brands and flags to use these new technology?
So my experience is mainly with brands, and I will say I do believe the brands have the edge, because they have the, what does it say? I guess the memberships. I mean, very people are very loyal where they're getting rewarded. I don't see as much with independent lodging hotels. I'm sure they do have their own kind, but I mean, give you an example of like Marriott. Marriott is constantly giving support at every level. I mean, you log into their site and it is every department and how they can help, and different systems and ways to close business. And it's incredible having that giant support system at your fingertips at any time. But for me, like I said, I just really, I do think brands have a competitive edge. I almost feel bad in saying that, because I believe that independent hotels are incredible in their own way. I truly do. They all have something, to offer to each guest, and again, a personalized experience. But when you have that brand loyalty and you can kind of build on that, and you know what you like, and it's easier for us to understand the data from the guest, and make their experience better, I think they'll always win with having so much data to understand the guests from.
We have talked about the millennial hotelier. So now talk about the millennial guest, because in the recent years we have seen growing number of young tech savvy guests. So because of that, how much do you think the guest expectations have changed in the recent years?
I Actually, I believe that the millennials are more understanding, at least in my experience. They want to be fast. Most of them are on a tight budget, or they're on a tight turnaround time, but they understand everyone is human. So for me, I believe grace is what just kind of comes to mind with this generation. That they understand, that we're all coming out of COVID, and we're all working together to kind of reshape our whole industry, as I mean literally our all across the board globally. But they understand that. I think millennials are very big on community. They want to be included, but they want to see diversity. I don't think they stand for the things that have stood in the past. So I believe in the future, it will almost be a positive impact from millennials. Actually, I know it will. And that's why I'm very passionate about millennials. I think we're the best generation, not biased. But I do, because I think they see people as people. And that's very important in any industry that you're in, that we're all people at the end of the day.
We have two completely opposing view of the industry. One is that hospitality is all about the human touch, the classic view, that it is all about people, it is all about communication. And then we have the modern people who say that technology will completely revolutionize the industry. It will be like contactless check-in, and the human touch will basically be eliminated. What is your opinion on this?
That's an excellent question. I'm actually very excited to answer this. I think each brand is different. If you look at a flag, we call it, for Marriott or Hilton, and you look at how each brand is curated so differently per the experience, I think if we utilize that brand advantage, for more modern hotels to be more adoptive of hotel tech, contactless check-in. Like again, you have to remember the experience for the guests. Maybe a hotel that's anchored maybe towards older guests, or more families. They don't want the contactless touch. They want to speak to somebody. So I think tech will take over. There's no question about it. but I do believe adopting it where it is needed and where it's wanted is very important. And I think in certain departments all across the board, we need more automation and integration on the back end. There's many things with accounting, finance, sales that we could be doing all across the boards, really, and not just per brand. So I think on the front of house, to give you a short answer, front of house, I think we need to adopt per brand. But on the back of house, I think we need to truly innovate further than what we even believe. And I think we will in the next 10 years.
You mentioned conference like BITAC. In your opinion, are hoteliers can benefit by attending this conference in terms of growing the business?
Yes, absolutely. There's all different kinds of conferences across the board. It's really what you're looking for, what makes sense for you and your property, or your company. But yeah, I think it's absolutely here to stay, and you can always benefit from going to a conference. And it's hard sometimes, especially in my younger years, putting yourself out there. You're going by yourself usually to a whole nother place, and you're a little nervous. You have those nerves, but you get there and you see that the people are all very inclusive, and that's something again I preach to be inclusive and bring everybody up and be a community. And when you feel that and you get there, the jitters kind of leave you. So I encourage anyone, in any level of hospitality, always attend an event or a conference whenever you can. Getting to meet and connect with those people, that's truly the priceless. That's that's everything to me. They say your network or your net worth is your network, and I stand by that.
Being listed among the 100 most influential people in North America hospitality by IHI, I must say it's a remarkable achievement for you. And if I will ask you, how do you use your influence to guide women, those are planning to start their career in this industry? So, what advice would you like to give them?
Yeah. So it all depends on you, what you're passionate about. There's so many things you can do in this industry to make a difference. But I tell everyone, if you're not passionate, you won't get through the hard days. You've got to have that fire inside of you that I don't think anyone can put in you. I think anyone can learn, but you've got to have it. And it's and I tell it to everyone really, it's either you really are fired up and you want to be a part of this change in this industry, or it's really not something for you. So I think it's really utilizing your skill set. What do you want to do? What do you like to do? It's funny. My journey is I love the experience, food
Mm-hmm.
and beverage. I thought that was kind of what I would do forever, and then realizing I can make more of an impact in sales, and I can make more of an impact through my leadership as I grow, and I guide larger teams, and I guide a company. That's really just I can't even describe it. It's really really incredible.
Other than work, how do you manage your time in spending quality time with your family and friends?
Absolutely. So I have a 2-year-old. So she is, my stars and sky. I absolutely adore her. So I'm definitely the token working mom. I'm as I'm on this, I keep seeing little things come through from her daycare, and I smile a little bit seeing a picture of her with her friends. But family is very important to me. Family, my friendships, and I live at the beach, so I'm a beach girl.
Mhm.
Love
Oh,
going to the beach. But I love to learn at the forefront. It's fun to have hobbies and do things, but I love learning new things. I'm learning pottery actually right now,
mhm.
and I love just creating, learning, growing in different ways than none. And of course, as someone in travel, I love to travel. Hopefully, planning a trip to Europe this coming summer. So it's just it's incredible. So and I truly believe you cannot have that peak performance if you don't prioritize your mental health and your happiness and your hobbies and what makes you happy outside of work. So for me, yeah, I just love my family, and I love learning and growing in any way I can and contributing to those around me. Yeah,
Allison, it was a pleasure to have you with us. Really enjoyed our insightful conversation. I'm sure our audience did too.
it was incredible. Thank you all for inviting me. Very happy Women's Day to everyone.
Thanks for watching us. Hope you liked today's episode. Share your thoughts in the comment box. Make sure to connect with us on our social media at Advanced Hospitality Technologies. See you with another guest. Till then, take care and have a great day.